Good afternoon, 7th grade Patriots. I am not feeling super well today, so I'm going to do just a quick little lecture here on this video, get you guys going, tell you what you need to be working on for Monday. So far, I hope you guys have been checking your emails. You have some homework that should have been done. Okay, yesterday, if you missed the video, you need to get with somebody and get those notes. Then you had a choice between 3 different worksheets that you could do for homework that was to be done yesterday. And then today, you will be working on, you'll need to complete the homework C page right here, converting rational numbers, and the exit ticket. Okay? So first thing I just want to go over right here, complete the chart, write each fraction in simplest form. Okay, so whatever you get to, you need to get that down to simplest form. So here, right, we would reduce this 12/18 down to its simplest form. Okay, this should not be hard based on what we've been working on these last few days. Okay? If you have any questions on any of this, make sure you reach out and let me know. Alright, you guys, today we're going to be shifting gears a little bit, going into this next section of our rational numbers. So in this section, we're going to plot, compare, and order rational numbers. So your standards are I can plot a rational number on a number line, I can compare rational numbers with or without a number line, and I can order rational numbers with or without a number line. So we're going to begin here. I want you guys to get this note page out, filling this in as I go along on this. When plotting rational numbers on a number line, the best way to begin is to identify what 2 numbers the rational number will fall between. Okay, so we're looking here what whole number falls to the left and to the right of the rational number on a number line. So thinking about this is -2.5. We got to think about where that falls on a number line. So which number would be to the left? Would be -3, and the number to the right would be -2. -2.5 will fall right in the middle between -2 and -3. Okay? Now +2 and 1/8. +2 and 1/8, that's going to fall between +2 and +3 on the number line. Okay? -1/4. -1/4. Well, okay, -1/4. So to the left of -1/4 is going to be -1, and to the right is going to be 0. Okay, think about that on a number line. If we're moving to the left, we're getting negative, we're 0, -1/4, -1. Okay, 5 and 75/100ths, that's going to be between 5 and 6. And finally, 3 and 5,000ths is going to be between 3 and 4. Pretty easy, straightforward stuff there. Okay? Once we have that, once we find out which 2 whole numbers those belong between, we can complete a number line and plot each rational number. So here I have the number 6 and 1/4. And I do apologize, there's a bit of a glare. It's just kind of what happens when I have it in a page protector. So I'll walk you through what I'm doing. So here I've got 6 and 1/4. We know that's going to be between +6 and +7. So I'm going to number my line 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 6 and 1/4 is going to be right about there on the number line. Less than 6 and 1/2, but more than 6. Okay, next number is -3 and 75/100ths. Okay, so I could say -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Well, -3 and 75/100ths is going to be less than -3, but more than -4. But it's going to be closer to -4 than it is to -3. Okay, that's -3 and 3/4. Okay? -3/8. -3/8. All right? Let's go -2, -1, 0, +1, and +2. -3/8 is going to be between 0 and -1. Okay? A little bit less than 1/2, because -4/8 would be the -1/2. We want this just a little bit closer to 0. And finally, 2 and 3/10. Let's go ahead and go 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 and 3/10 is going to be between 2 and 3. Less than halfway, somewhere right about there. Okay? All right, flipping this page over to the back side, we say when comparing rational numbers, use the following symbols. Okay? This one here, greater than, less than, equal to. Should be pretty much a review here. You could use a number line or place value when comparing rational numbers. When using a number line, the rational number furthest to the blank has the greatest value. Okay, furthest to the what? Which direction? Hopefully we can think of our number line and we know furthest to the right. The rational number furthest to the right has the greatest value. When using place value, first turn all rational numbers into decimals. All right, so we're taking 1/5 and we're comparing that to 22/100ths. All right, well, I want to know what 1/5 is as a decimal. This is one of those benchmark fractions that we should be able to know. Okay, we should know that 1/5 is the same as 2/10, which is the same as 20/100ths. If we don't know that, we can do a quick little division up here. 1 divided by 5, add a decimal and a 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times, bringing that decimal up. Sorry you can't see that because there's not the white behind it. Okay, so, right, there we go, doing that division. All right, so we are comparing 20/100ths compared to 22/100ths. Well, I can put that on my number line, right? 2/10 is the same as 20/100ths. 22/100ths would be right there. I can see that 22/100ths is greater than 1/5. Okay, next one. -35/100ths compared to -3/5. Well, I need to know what -3/5 is. Well, 3 divided by 5. Add a decimal and a 0, I divide out, and I find out that -3/5 is the same as -6/10. Okay, so I'm going to plot -35/100ths, and I'm going to plot -6/10. I can see that -35/100ths is further to the right, getting closer to 0, making it greater than -3/5. All right, now I'm looking at 79% compared to 37/50ths. Well, 79%, we know we can divide this by 100. This is the same as 79 over 100, which we know is 79/100ths. 37/50ths, okay, if I'm looking at this being 50 on the bottom, a nice way to be able to make that a decimal would be to have 100 on the bottom, so I can multiply numerator and denominator by 2, and that would give me 54 over 100. 74, sorry. 7 and 7 is 14, 3 and 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, so that would be 74/100ths. Sorry about that. Okay, so 79/100ths compared to 74/100ths. 74/100ths, plot 79/100ths. It's pretty easy to see that 79/100ths is going to be greater than 74/100ths. All right. Last one on this page, we've got 12/20ths compared to 42/70ths. All right, divide these out. Okay, 12 goes into 20. I'm going to do the division. Right, with me. Add a decimal and a 0. 20 goes into 126 times. Okay, so 6/10. And then 42 divided by 70. Going to add a decimal and a 0. 70 goes into 426 times as well. So I'm really comparing 6/10 compared to 6/10. These are equivalent. They are equal to one another. So here in the box, I'm going to say, sorry, I got a little close, this 12/20ths is equal to 42/70ths. Go ahead and get to the next page on these notes, please. Alright, going to go through a couple of these. This is order the rational numbers from least to greatest by using a number line and a place value. So I've got negative 5, 560%, 4 1/3, and negative 2 8/10. We know automatically that negative numbers are going to be less than positive numbers. Okay, so we can put negative 5 on our number line. And I need a marker that's got a better tip. I don't know. So I'll put negative 5 on there, and then negative 2.8 would be right about there, closer to negative 3 than negative 2. Okay, so then I've got 4 1/3 and 560%. 560%, we know we can divide that by 100 to get 5 6/10. So that's going to be 5 5/10 would be right in the middle. So 5 6/10 is just a little bit more than 5 1/2. Kind of hard to see with my marker because it doesn't have a great tiny tip. And then my last number is 4 1/3. Well, 4 1/3, if I divided 1 divided by 3, I'm going to get 0.3 repeating. So I know that 4 1/3 is 4 3/10 repeating. Okay, so I'm going to plot 4 3/10 right about there. So now I can list my orders in number from least to greatest. It would go negative 5, negative 2 8/10, positive 4 1/3, and finally 560%. Okay? Next problem. This is a lot. Actually, I don't know, we're kind of running out of time on this video. So, go kind of quickly. 120% is the same as 1 2/10. Negative 1/4 is the same as negative 25/100. Negative 1 25/100 is going to stay negative 1 25/100. And then 7/8, when I divide that out, I'm going to come out with 875 thousandths. All of these markers are bleeding together. I'm apologizing. So, go ahead and plot what we know. 1 2/10 is going to be right in here. Negative 25/100. So we've got that one on this number line. Negative 1 25/100 over here. And positive 875 thousandths. Positive 875 thousandths. We're going to be right about in there. Okay, so then we could go ahead and list those numbers in order from least to greatest. Negative 1 25/100, negative 1/4, positive 7/8, and finally 120%. Okay? Okay. Alright, next problem that we have is 1/10, 1/5, 15%, and 7/10. Decimal, don't need to worry about those. 15%, I divide by 100 to give me 15/100. And then 1/5, I divide 1 divided by 5, or I think about this as a percentage. 1/5 of a whole is 20%, so I'm going to write that as 0.20. Okay? So, let's go with the number line. 1/10, 2/10, or 20/100, same thing. Here I've got 15/100. Sorry, it's going blurry. There we go. 15/100 is going to be right in the middle of those two. And finally, 7/10. So 1/10, 15%, 1/5, and finally 7/10, ordered from least to greatest. Okay. I'd like you to try and see if you can pause the video, see if you can do this last one on your own, and come back and check your answers. Alright, Hopefully these are the answers that you got. Negative 2 and 8/10, followed by negative 2 and 3/4, followed by positive 2, and finally 230%. That's it for this video.